I've just come today to do a tutorial with you on how I made my faux Midori covers, and if you watched my faux Midori Traveller's Notebook insert cover doobie my flips that I made back in December, people had asked me if I would show how to do it, and I did do one and it kind of messed up, so I'm going to try this one again to show you because it's so easy. I did get inspiration. When I say inspiration, actually, I watched Genevieve's making her, is it the Wanderlust collection that she's been doing? And she had showed how she does hers. So I'm just going to show you how I do mine, which is very similar. So it's not really my idea. So I've got 2 pieces of cardstock. I've got some Tyvek. This is 55 GSM, and I'm not sure what that is in pounds. I have got a little strip here for my spine, which I've kind of distressed around the edges. You can do that with your fingernail gently, or a distress tool, or the edge of your scissors. Just doing that to ruffle that up, and I will be inking that up as well. And what else do I? Oh, you'll need a hole punch of some sort. This is my crocodile. I won't be using the large hole, I will be using the smaller hole to punch 2 holes in, and then you will need some elastic, and then you will need some glue. I would suggest a wet glue for this. You could use this, you could use a Fabri-Tac. I'm using this because this is so expensive and I prefer using it for fabric. So the 2 pieces that I'm using, I'll show you the measurements of them. I have cut them and scored them already to save some time. I'm not using that, but it is, so pretty. It measures 10 inches length by 8 1/4, and I have scored both pieces are the exact same size. So I have scored it at 4 1/2 and then 5 1/2, and I've done that on both of my cardstock. So I'm just going to move this out the way. Oh, actually, before I move that out the way, this measures 2 inches. Yeah, it measures 2 inches, and what I done is I centered it with the middle here, which is 6 inches, and I made sure that there was 1 inch in the middle, so there was like 1/2 inch either side, and then scored down there because that's going to go on my spine. Let's move this out of the way. Okay, so I want this to be my front cover facing out, and I want this to be on the inside, so it's kind of like that. And you might have to trim a little bit off once you've glued on, because obviously the paper kind of moves about. So the Tyvek I'm going to glue on, see how this goes, because I've never used it before. So I'm stretching around of the tripod, so I have to do it sideways so I can see, because I would normally put my head right over the top, but you don't want to look at my head. My hair's wet at the moment. I haven't had time to dry it today. It's been a busy day. So making sure that you get right to the edge, because you don't want it to fray, come away at the edges. So that's that. And I've just noticed that they look like llamas on there. So I guess there's no right way or wrong way to do this, because both sides getting glued down. I'm going to have to kind of stretch around just a little bit to make sure that I get it right up to the edge. I'm going to use my bond folder just to squish the glue all out and make sure that it's all, yep, so gooey glue. I'm just going to lift that going to sit that there and wipe the glue away because I don't want that sticking to my next piece of cardstock. And these glass mats are great, but when you baby wipe them or wet wipe them, you have to dry them because they stay wet for ages. And you can hear I've still got a croaky voice, but I do feel so much better. It's like 3 weeks of feeling ill. It's unbelievable. I can't believe how bad this cold has been this year. So I'm just going to trim that away. The glue's oozing out there. Just going to, using my big chunky craft knife. I've got loads of different craft knives, but I prefer this one because it's nice and heavy. It glides through the cardstock. If I'm doing it on cardstock, it just glides through it so easily. And you can obviously buy the replacement blades. It is actually from the DIY store. It's called Craft Right, if anyone's interested. So, still glue there. Still oozing out. Now Craftex, not Craftex. I've been calling this Craftex. It's Tyvek. Oh my goodness, have I been saying Craftex? Oh dear. Hope not. That's another video messed up. Yeah, it's Tyvek. Oh no, when I listen to this now, before I upload it, I'll be like, oh you silly mare. So now we've got to, I would normally let that dry for a little bit, but obviously because of the time of the video I am not going to. So plenty on the spine, plenty around the edges, and I kind of snipped a little bit too much off the nozzle of this glue. And it's coming out really thick, but I kind of want lots of it anyway. Just have to be careful when I'm using it on other things. So just checking there's no right way up. No, there isn't. So this, I'm just going to line this up. Whoops, it's a little bit slippy. Let me see, there we go. Just lining it up. So because I can't put my head right over, it's a little bit difficult. So I'm going to do the same to get all the glue spread about inside there. Have to snip away. Now realistically you could just use a piece to do down there, but I want to make sure that this is sturdy. Yeah, and it's obviously the Tyvek because it's of a kind of slippy material. It's moving this around a little bit. Now I would let this realistically I would let this sit and dry for quite a bit, but I'm just going to centre that and just reinforce these score marks. Oops, I went right off there. So you don't do that. That's the thing about doing videos. And I was listening to Daisy Collins, Tsunami Rose, about when you're doing live videos, like you get all the mistakes and everything else, and it's quite funny because that is so true. And when you're doing tutorials, especially when you've got halfway through or nearly finished and you make a boo-boo, you really don't want to start again because of, you know, the time, and especially when someone's prepared you know, the materials for a tutorial for you know, for a while, and then, you know, you go and do a boo-boo. Okay, so as you can see, they're still wet, and I would normally let it dry, but not today. See, it's kind of moved because I haven't let it dry. Right, I won't actually be using this one, but please do let yours dry. So I'm gonna use some vintage photo distress ink just to go around what I'm using for my spine. This is just a brand new one that I got today and opened it up, and oh wow, you don't realise how how vibrant the colours are, you know, when you've used it for a while, and the colour fades, but you kind of like it and you continue to use it. Then you get a new one and you're like, oh, that's what it's supposed to look like. So I'm just going to go down the spiny bit. There we go. So plenty of glue. Actually, maybe this would be a good time to use your Fabri-Tac or your 3-in-1 fabric glue, because they are good. Fabric glues are really, really good. Expensive, but you get what you pay for. Right, so I'm just going to kind of line that up with there we go. And because it's still kind of wet around the edges, I'm not going to ink that up just now, because I don't want it to look really messy. So the good thing about wet glue as well is you have a little bit of time to move things about. So that's pretty wet. Because obviously there's quite a few layers of glue on that. So that's how it's looking. Now I'm a little bit worried about punching the holes in it because it's still wet. Just please remember, allow time to dry. So, yep. If I had to sit and allow this to dry and talk to you, it would take ages. I would normally put the layer of Tyvek onto the first piece of cardstock, let that dry for about 20 minutes, then come back, do the top layer, leave that for 20 minutes, ink it up, and then put this on, and then leave that for about 20 minutes. But when you're leaving it to dry, you can get on with doing other things, so it's not really, you're not wasting any time whatsoever. Right, so let's see if I can so you're going to punch 2 holes at the bottom. I'm just going to eyeball this, but I would leave it about 1/4 of an inch from the end, from the bottom here, and just you can see it's wet, so it's not quite dragged all the paper out. And then you do exactly the same on the other side. You don't use that one, you use this one. You don't have to worry if it's not perfect. This is handmade, remember? We're not on a conveyor belt, we're not a production line. So that is, like I say, it's still wet. And then you would, for the top, you can put eyelets in it if you want. I'm not going to, I didn't on the other ones. You'd feed your, no you don't, you go in this way, you go from the inside out, then you take it in, then you take it down to the bottom one and in through the hole, out and in through the other one, and you kind of give yourself, kind of got to tie it quite firm, because you don't want your inserts to fall out, and I don't want to waste. So I would say about that much, and just snip a bit off. I normally wrap it around twice. Don't know why, but I just do. And then tie it. I mean, if you know how to do fancy knots, then fill your boots. Now, I'm going to leave that like that because you can feed it through and have them at the bottom, and you could add some bead dangles, or you can, once you put your inserts in, you can cut them off small so that it's not this big black piece of elastic. So that is pretty much how I done it, and then obviously you would just decorate your cover, do whatever you like on that. So the next time you see this, it will be fully decorated. I think I am going to use it. It will be fully decorated with inserts in it and inked up, and I'll leave this over the weekend to dry because I am working on another journal at the moment, but I just wanted to come and show you how I done this. You can add some pockets on the inside as well. So that is it. That was how easy it was. If you don't have Tyvek, you don't have to use it. Just make sure that you could put like a really thin layer of like a linen fabric, you know, like a cotton or something, just a really thin, not a big thick, not thick material, but a thin layer, just say down there to in between the two pages, in between the two covers I should say, the front and the back, just to reinforce the spine. But, and even if you don't have that, you don't have to do that. So yeah, I hope that was clear. It was easy peasy, and like I said, next time you see it, it will be in its what's the word, it'll be in its glory with its signatures in there. So I'm going to go now. I've got dinner to cook, and I hope you all have a good weekend, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.